Beloveds, the body is a temple, but you have forgotten the prayer. You ask, does masturbation ruin muscle growth? But before we go there, understand, it is not about the act, it is about awareness. Anything done unconsciously, repetitively, becomes mechanical. It robs you of vitality, it robs you of presence, and that is the real loss. Today let us go beyond shame and guilt. Let us look at what truly happens when you give away your energy, not with judgment, but with deep seeing. Because only by becoming aware can you truly choose a path of strength, of mastery. Wasted energy is wasted potential. Energy is not just physical. It is not something that can be measured only by calories or by the number of protein shakes you consume. Energy is subtle. It flows from the core of your being. It flows when your thoughts are aligned, when your emotions are pure, and when your actions are mindful. When a man ejaculates unconsciously, he does not just lose fluid, he leaks the very essence of life. That semen, that liquid, is not ordinary. It is condensed vitality. It carries within it the power to create life. Do you realize the enormity of that? In ancient times, yogis, monks, and warriors practiced brahmacharya, not because they hated the body or pleasure, but because they understood this energy could be transformed, sublimated, elevated. They turned it into fire, the same fire that burns in discipline, that fuels focus, that sharpens memory, that awakens spiritual insight. Muscle growth is not just a result of lifting weights. Anyone can move dumbbells, but to truly grow, to transform, you need a furnace within you. A furnace that burns steadily, not one that flickers out every time a desire pulls you down. Modern man is a machine running on fumes. And the reason is simple. He does not conserve, he does not channel, he leaks. Through his phone, his addictions, his unchecked cravings, and masturbation done frequently, is one of the fastest ways to drain the very battery of your vitality. You see, the gym is not just a physical place, it is sacred ground. You go there not just to shape your body, but to meet your limits, to meet your fears, to break patterns. That journey needs energy, clean, focused, untampered energy. But when your nights are spent spilling life unconsciously, and your days are filled with guilt, fatigue, and emotional lows, how will the iron bend to your will? Wasted energy is wasted potential. The more you give away without awareness, the less is left to fuel your dreams, your strength, your transformation. 2. It clouds the mind, dulls the focus. The gym is meditation. Understand this clearly. It is not about the weight you lift, but the presence you bring. Every rep is a mantra, every breath is a prayer, and like all prayers it requires focus. When you masturbate out of compulsion, not choice, not awareness, but addiction, your mind becomes noisy, your clarity disappears. You are no longer a master of yourself, you are just chasing shadows, and a cluttered mind cannot lift iron. It cannot hold tension, it cannot be still, and stillness is needed to grow, to strengthen, to rise. Have you noticed? After ejaculation, the mind becomes foggy. There's a sense of lethargy, of detachment from the body. It is not just physical fatigue, it is a drop in presence. Why? Because masturbation done unconsciously dulls the nerves. It hijacks the brain's reward system. You go from being an observer of your mind, to being a slave to it. In the gym, your body speaks, but only if your mind is quiet. Every muscle contracts and stretches like poetry, but only if the mind is listening. And how can you listen when your head is filled with fantasies, guilt, and hormonal chaos? The yogis spoke of chitta, consciousness. When the chitta is clean, the body follows effortlessly. But masturbation creates ripples in the lake of consciousness. It creates noise, and noise is the enemy of growth. A man who seeks strength must first silence his distractions. Only then can his body obey. Only then can the gym become his sanctuary. 3. It weakens the discipline you're trying to build. Discipline is a flame, a slow-burning fire that must be fed with consistency, commitment, and consciousness. Every time you act with awareness, the flame grows. Every time you fall into mechanical behavior, it dims. Masturbation, when habitual and unconscious, weakens this fire. You see, when you give in to a moment of desire without reflection, you are not just losing semen, you are telling your mind you don't have to wait, you don't have to try, just escape, and the mind learns fast. So the next time you're tired in the gym, the mind whispers, skip this set. When you're sore the next morning, the mind says, take a break today. And when the junk food tempts you, the mind says, one bite won't hurt. This is how discipline erodes, not with a bang, but with small surrenders. The muscle you build in the gym is secondary. The real muscle is the one inside your mind, the one that holds the line when desire pulls. And if you cannot say no to your lower urges, how how will you ever say yes to your higher goals? A man of discipline does not live in suppression. He lives in direction. He channels his urges. He does not deny them. He masters them. But masturbation done repeatedly and carelessly teaches your brain that gratification is instant, that nothing is worth waiting for. And this mindset is poison for muscles, for goals, for life. You must train the body. But more importantly, you must train the mind that trains the body. Otherwise you are building a castle on sand. 4. Dopamine addiction hijacks real progress. Dopamine, the brain's pleasure messenger. It is beautiful. It motivates you to act, to strive, to conquer. But like all tools, when misused it becomes dangerous. Every time you masturbate, especially through porn, you flood your brain with dopamine. It feels good, doesn't it? It feels satisfying, but what you don't see is the trap being built inside your head. Your brain, beloved, is a student. It learns what to seek. And when it gets pleasure instantly from a screen in your hand, it forgets the slow pleasures, the kind that comes from hard work, from repetition, from delayed gratification. Now when you enter the gym, something strange happens. The iron doesn't excite you. The reps feel long. The grind feels empty. Why? Because you have trained your mind to crave fireworks, not fire. This is not motivation. This is addiction. You become a slave, not to your desires, but to the dopamine they release. Real muscle is built in silence, in struggle, in slow sacred pain. The joy of a clean rep, the burn of the last set, the ache of sore arms the next morning. This is divine. But to experience that, your brain must be patient. It must know how to wait. Masturbation shortcuts the process. It feeds the craving without earning it. And so the brain starts to avoid things that take time, including your workout, your recovery, your goals. A man addicted to dopamine will always quit before the reward, and quitting becomes his habit. Do not let false pleasure hijack your path. Bring your awareness back. Reclaim your dopamine, not through denial, but through direction. 5. The hormonal symphony is disturbed. The human body is not a machine, it is a symphony. Every hormone is a note. Testosterone, cortisol, dopamine, serotonin, all must be in harmony for you to feel alive, powerful, grounded. But masturbation done excessively is like throwing a stone into this orchestra. It disturbs the rhythm. Yes, science has confirmed it. Frequent ejaculation can lower testosterone temporarily. But more than the drop, it's the fluctuation that's dangerous. Your body thrives on balance, and when you spike and crash again and again, your system never finds rest. Testosterone is not just about muscles, it's about drive, courage, ambition and masculine presence. It is your edge. It is what makes you push harder, lift heavier, walk taller. And yet when you masturbate mindlessly, you mute that edge. Have you noticed? After a binge you feel empty, weak, indifferent. Your workouts feel harder, your sleep becomes shallow, your motivation fades. It is not coincidence, it is chemistry. The body, in its wisdom, has built a delicate internal ecosystem, and the more you interfere with it for momentary pleasure, the more it resists long-term strength. Real power does not come from outside, it comes from respecting the temple you live in, from understanding that your hormones are sacred instruments, not toys. The modern world may mock this truth, but the ancient sages knew it, they lived it, they preserved their essence, not for ego, but for energy, and you must do the same, not with fear, but with reverence. 6. You lose the sacred connection with your body. The body is not just flesh and bone, it is a bridge between the visible and the invisible, between the worldly and the divine. But in the modern world the body has been reduced to a machine for pleasure. Masturbation, when repeated without soul, without feeling, turns your body into an object, something to be used, not something to be honored. Over time you become numb to your own form. You stop listening, you stop sensing, you stop feeling. You do not move with grace, you do not rest with intention, you do not eat with awareness. And that numbness follows you to the gym. You no longer lift weights, you merely go through the motions. You no longer breathe deeply, you pant unconsciously. You no longer stretch, you jerk. Where is the presence? Where is the ritual? Compare this to the warrior of old who trained with mindfulness, with breath, with posture. Every movement was sacred. Every bead of sweat was an offering. This is what masturbation takes from you. Not in one night, but over months, years. It dulls your senses. It disconnects you from your divine temple. And once that connection is lost, you cannot grow. You cannot truly transform. Reconnection begins with respect, with restraint, with rediscovery. See your body again, not as a slave to your lust, but as a chariot of your soul. Worship it, through discipline, through training, through self-love. Let every rep be a ritual. Let every session be a meditation. Only then will the transformation be real. Not just of the biceps, but of being. 7. Real strength requires mastery over desire. Desire is not the enemy. Desire is divine. Without it, no mountain would be climbed, no book written. But desire, when untamed, becomes fire in a dry forest. It burns everything. It consumes your peace, your progress, your purpose. Masturbation, when done out of compulsion, is not about love or intimacy. It is about escape. It is about distraction. It is about feeding a hunger without questioning where it comes from. And the man who cannot face his hunger becomes a beggar to it. True strength is not in how much you lift. It is in how well you carry your cravings. The one who can hold his fire, direct it, master it, that man becomes unshakable. This is the essence of NoFap, not celibacy for the sake of purity, but mastery for the sake of power. When you stop reacting to every urge, your inner world transforms, your voice deepens, your eyes sharpen, your spine straightens. Not because of magic, but because of mastery. The energy you save begins to shine through your being. People feel it, you feel it. Radiant. This is real strength, not just muscle, but magnetism, not just discipline, but divinity, and it begins with saying no, not from suppression, but from sovereignty. So beloveds, the question is not does masturbation ruin gains? The question is, are you aware? Anything done with consciousness becomes a tool of transformation. Anything done unconsciously becomes a chain. If you feel your power fading, if your workouts feel weaker, if your fire feels low, maybe it's time to stop leaking your life force. Subscribe to NoFap Nation if you wish to walk this path, not of repression, but of liberation, where strength is sacred, and you are whole.